I'm sitting here in Emerald Beach on the beautiful east coast of Australia, and my friend and assistant Katrina and I arrived here about 40 minutes ago to do some filming, and it started raining. So I'm going to talk about something that my friends know and I occasionally talk about in seminars, but I've never talked about to a camera, to you, to a broader audience, and that is the extent of the power of our beliefs. On my second trip to Bali in 1974, I went up to spend time with a friend of mine. He and his brother were opening a new section of their homestay hotel, and it was a big deal. There were 70, 80, 90 guests going to be there, and it was going to go all day, and it was a sort of part social, part religious ceremony, like a housewarming, but a house blessing too. And it was outdoors, and the night before it was just raining, and it had been in the village of Ubud. It had been raining for a week, and so the night before I turned to Jakarta and I said, what if it's raining tomorrow during the ceremony? And he said, oh, it's handled. I said, what do you mean it's handled? He said, you'll see. So the ceremony was to go from 8 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, and at 7:45 in the morning it's pouring right through the village, and 4 priests turn up in white, sit under an awning and start meditating, and at 8 o'clock it stopped raining on his property. And for the next 8 hours till 4 o'clock, not a drop of rain fell on his property while it kept raining through the rest of the village. Needless to say, my mind was kind of bent out of shape, and I found it hard to believe what was actually happening right in front of my eyes. And I had 2 friends from Australia with me who agreed that it was actually happening, that something outside of our possible reality was actually happening in the world. And what I found out was that weather control is quite popular and common in Bali, which is one of the reasons why they have, I think, the highest rice production in the world, because they call for the rain when it's needed and it stops when it's not. So when my son Luke was growing up as a young boy, I'd tell him about this, and we finally went to Bali when he was 4, and he kept asking Balinese, is it true that you can stop the rain, or people here stop the rain? And I was saying, oh, sure, sure. So we were there with my then girlfriend and her 2 boys. We went back to Australia, and one day I picked them up after school, and the plan was to take them to the park, and rain was threatening any moment. This was back in Sydney, dark grey skies and the occasional drop. So we're driving to the park, and I said, guys, I think it's going to rain before we get there. And Luke said, well, let's control the weather. I said, well, how do you think we should do that? And he said, we'll just chant no rain till we get to the park. So we did. And we got to the park, and it wasn't raining, and the kids got out and they played for half an hour, got back in the car, I turned the engine on, and at that instant the heavens opened and it poured rain. And Luke was absolutely convinced that they'd stop the rain. So we practiced and got very good at it. And over the years, as I said, I've shared with friends that I've done this and I know how to do it. And it happens about 99 times out of 100. So today, Katrina and I arrived here, and it just started sprinkling. So I said, okay, let's go and have a coffee, and I'll ask the weather gods to give us some sunshine. And 40 minutes later, instead of the downpour that was threatening, we're sitting here in a glorious, almost cloud-free sky with the sun beaming down upon us. And again, it worked. What is that about? Well, I'll tell you. The simple truth is that you get to create what you believe. If you believe, and that's not just with weather, that's with anything. Whatever you believe is possible is for you. And whatever you believe is not possible is not for you. Think about it. What do you think you can't have? What do you believe is not possible in your life, yet other people have it? Because if anyone else, anywhere in the world has it, that's evidence that it's possible. And if you open your beliefs to that possibility for you, it's possible it'll happen or change or transform for you. So with the weather control, it's very simple. If I want the weather to be not raining, I simply close my eyes and I say, weather gods, if it's possible, please give me sunshine. In this case, I ask for about 2 hours, and I always end with the greatest good of all. In other words, maybe others have more priority to have rain, and I acquiesce to that. So I just wanted to share that and finally put it on camera and share that with you to challenge your beliefs about what's possible in the world. And if you ever get a chance, go to Bali, because it is an island of impossibility.